Hello, have you been thinking about buying a Leica Surflord 2? I mean, sure, I looked at them online as well and was like, that's a damn sexy little Instax camera. But then saw the price tag and was immediately like, oh, hell no, I can't afford that. And why would you pay that much money for an Instax camera? What if I told you this camera already existed? And it's actually just a Fujifilm Instax Mini Evo. I recently was gifted one for my birthday. Shout out to Okan, thank you so much. And that's when I realized something strange was afoot at the Leica factory. These cameras both have the same technical specs. Trust me, I looked it all up. Same image sensor, it's like a 1/5 CMOS sensor. Same shutter speed, same aperture, same 28mm lens. Both have autofocus, etc, etc. For all intended purposes, these cameras are technically the same. The main differences being the colors, the red logo, and a lens cap. So I decided I would take it out for a spin, test out some of the strange film styles and effects that they have. So let's head out and I'll show you what the Instax Mini can do, I guess. First up, I decided to take some photos just using some pretty stock standard effects. Here I'm using the normal color effect, which I quite like. I also do like the way that this camera flares when pointed at the sun, as you can see here. Next up is the monochrome. I would maybe prefer if this had a little bit more contrast, but you can always do that in post. Here's a nice crooked photo for you, direct from my skateboard. I do quite enjoy the punchy colors though of this camera. I've done minimal editing to this photo and like the results. Can't go without a classic fisheye photo when you're skating. I decided to test out the monochrome a couple more times just to see the results. I did have to edit these quite heavily in post to get the results I liked though. I then cycled through a few of the lens effects, like the vignette, soft focus, and the blur. I wasn't a huge fan of these, but I can definitely see them being used for some pretty creative results. I was pretty satisfied with the next few photos. Here I used the vivid film effect, which results in a pretty desaturated image, followed by the retro effect, which I actually really like the results of. This photo in particular I quite liked. I like the gradient in the sky and the washed out colors of the roof. I found the retro effect of this camera to be the most reminiscent of my style, producing punchy colors and strong contrast. The camera itself has 10 lens effects and 10 film effects. These can be accessed via the dials in the camera, the top dial controlling the lens effects, and the front dial controlling the film effects. There are also settings menus where you can change exposure compensation and things like that. I was pretty surprised that you can do this, as it is fairly advanced functionality for a camera of this style. As you can see here on the chart that I've pulled from the Fujifilm website, there are a whole lot of combinations in which you can get some creative styles out of this camera. The most used effects I found were the normal, vivid, monochrome, retro. I also quite enjoyed some of the lens effects like the light leak, the double exposure, the half frame as well. Do note, these styles and effects do look dramatically different when printed on an Instax film. I feel like they lean heavily in favor of being printed on a film rather than, say, a digital image. The next three images are all using the retro film effect, and by far this is definitely my favorite effect of the cameras. The colors that it produces are pretty excellent, and I mean, I really like these digital stills. Here you can see I'm testing out the mirror effect. and the double exposure, which you can get quite interesting results with. I really do enjoy double exposures on actual film, and this replicates that pretty well. Here I was using a combination of the red, yellow and blue filters to get some interesting results with the double exposure. If you do want to pick up one of these cameras, I'll put an affiliate link below. It'll really help out my channel and I can make more content like this. I feel like the Instax Mini Evo is a great point and shoot camera. I'll definitely be taking this to parties and events, family gatherings and occasions like that, purely because of the nostalgic vibe to it. I feel like some of these half frame shots are some of my favorites from the day. I haven't got a half frame film camera, so this is kind of fun to mess around with. I found the retro film style and the light leak effect work really well together, and they look excellent when you print them out. This camera actually produces some really fun images. I really couldn't find any difference between the two cameras. They even have the same 10 lens effects, styles, whatever you want to call them. I was very surprised though at how much I did actually enjoy using this camera, and the fact that I can take photos on any of my other digital cameras and print them out here. I love Leica, don't get me wrong, but I would highly suggest that you save your money for a real Leica, because we all know this is where it's at. At this point in the day, it got pretty dark and a storm started to roll in, so I thought, why not do a low light film test and see how this camera went producing low light results. I was actually pretty stoked on how this picture came out, and that made me then think, well, let's do a film test as well, and I printed the image just to see what it looked like. To print, you actually pull the little lever on the top. That is reminiscent of a film camera. It does take a hot minute to print out, but the results of these photos look spectacular. You can see here that the Instax film actually adds a lot of contrast to your image, and the colors come through pretty vibrantly. Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions about the camera, leave them in the comments. Subscribe to my channel if you feel like it, and maybe hit the like button. It'd really help.